weight behind their strength.
But will they play AD carry, protect him, Ardent Sensor, Khan on a tank? I love the fact that they're doing what G2 did and saying, let's ban their Janna first of all, and maybe even the Lulu, to get rid of some of these Ardent Sensor supports.
I think it's what Longzhu should do, right? They so stubbornly and successfully stuck to their style during the LCK final and were rewarded for it. That's engaged support, slightly more utility-focused AD carry like an Ashe or a Varus, and then you get that carry top laner because you brought your utility and your engage from your bottom lane, which, even though Khan is that superstar who carries, that's enabled because of how good Praying Gorilla are.
Now, Lulu is still open. Got banned there from Immortals. Otherwise, Longzhu could have just first picked it for themselves. But the two main Ardent Sensor supports are gone. You can still play Karma, you can play Taric. There are plenty left, but these are the ones who really make the game just go full late game. Longzhu is a team, though, who needs Gorilla to be on a playmaker. You cannot rely on your jungler Cuzz to be the main engage, and Khan obviously likes to get his last pick top laners who can split push, and that's why Gorilla is so important for engage and Prey as well.
Yeah, or to have the flex pick, because Cuzz actually hasn't played a Jarvan jungle the entire summer split.
Right.
I think the Jarvan is actually a bigger denial pick from Immortals because they love to pick it extremely early in the draft and swap between Flav and Xmithie, and we got a whole new ball game here to fix with the Ezreal jungle locked in early.
Okay, Xmithie wants to play aggressive. This champion, there was so much discussion regarding him making it on to the main stage here at Worlds, because in scrims you can play Ezreal, you can go crazy, there are a million kills in the early game, it's fine. On the big stage, if you do not execute the early game perfectly with an Ezreal jungle, you lose. Because if he's behind, he's pretty much useless. Xmithie is a jungler with fantastic early game, who understands what to do in the early game, and Immortals is a good early game team. I want to see if they can execute this against Longzhu.
It's fine. They had that back in the days of Velocity. We've seen Ezreal jungle for a long time in North. No, I'm just kidding. We will have to see. I mean, Xmithie puts a lot of pressure on himself, but also is a very big leader of that team, so may be able to control that pressure very well.
Yeah, and if Longzhu locks in this Taliyah, it's so similar to a lot of the stuff that they were executing in Korea the whole regular season. Taliyah, his most picked mid laner.
Yeah.
That can go top lane, and I would not be surprised if that Jarvan is a top laner, but they're going to hold out on actually locking that in until they see what Immortals has for themselves.
It's such a good start for Longzhu in terms of the comfort with the Taliyah. We just saw Crown in the last game have a fantastic performance on it. We know these LCK mid laners can really shine on a champion that's focused around the communication of, you know, setting up plays in the side lane and then playing these late game team fights where you're just killing the tank in front of you. Taliyah can do both, and it's why it's such a powerful pick for them.
Rise locked in for Pobelter. Will be able to scale up himself this game, but also be able to deliver that crowd control power for Xmithie to do that damage on the Ezreal. For the true shot barrage to hit with the other crowd control of the Chain of Corruption. And now the second ban phase. Khan finds his Chase band and the Renekton as well for the side of Flame.
I mean, and this is the flexibility that Longzhu have afforded themselves. Jason, Renekton, as well as Jarvan were the three most played top laners for Khan. But what's interesting is Renekton and Jarvan were the two most played top laners for Flame. So getting the Renekton straight out of there, getting the Jace right out of there, you're shrinking these champion pools. And I really wonder if you're going to see a Cho'Gath ban here from Longzhu as well, because that is the go-to power pick on this patch. It's just not something we've seen that much of from Flame.
We've had three of them, or two of them so far, a possible third in this game. As this is our first game out of Group B. We just had two in C, Longzhu and Immortals from Group B here. As we figured out 6 seconds left for Longzhu's final ban.
I find the Rakan ban is also very interesting from Immortals, with, of course, Xiye already been banned a long time ago and Tristana locked in. I think Alistar is almost a bigger pick for Gorilla or the Thresh. He can play, obviously, Olleh here wants to try and counter that with the Morgana, but you can definitely still play Alistar against it, and you can just Q flash and she doesn't have time to Black Shield.
Yeah, I do think there's some more texture with this Morgana pick as well, though, only because even thinking back to the spring before Olleh went God mode in the summer split, Morgana was his pick. He picked it way before it was in meta. On top of that, I'm expecting the Stoneborn Pact Ardent Sensor Morgana to go with their double AD carry team. So it's looking to get the late game where Longzhu is just continually drafting the exact same way they did in the LCK, regardless of what the patch is. I mean, if that's the case, you would expect an Alistar, or is this the time for the switch up?
Is he going to try and counter the Morgana here, saying, you know what, you can't really kill me in lane, so I feel safe doing this? I'm still looking at then either the Alistar or it looks to be a Karma that he's actually thinking about. Will, of course, bring Arc Sensor as well. Very strong laning phase coming from Karma. Definitely something you have to respect. And Longzhu now with that draft where you don't need to help that bot lane at all. The Karma and the Tristana will do more than fine 2v2, and you can play around topside.
Yeah, they're going to play around topside. Longzhu knows that, Immortals knows that, SKT knew that in the final, and they couldn't stop it. So I can't wait to see if Immortals can stop it, because Longzhu, they're going for it. That's the third most picked champion for Khan in the summer split, and the most picked champion for Cuzz to play around that top side.
A lot of power and damage coming from this Longzhu composition. Immortals find a bit of a tank in Flame. So it could be helping them if they go late game, but then you have Prey on that Tristana. You have that bot lane Ardent Sensor coming through. Just going to be terrifying.
We've seen this jungle matchup as well in the play-ins where Kha'Zix gets picked into the Ezreal. If you get past the first few levels, this Kha'Zix here will have so much kill pressure against Ezreal. You're very squishy as a jungler when you are funny enough an 80 carry flying around. If this Kha'Zix gets to level 6, he gets onto you, he can even use his stealth effectively to dodge around and you can't really hit him. It's a kill for the Kha'Zix, and it's a very nice composition that's been drafted here by Longzhu to really have that aggressive jungler that can invade and push priority in mid for BDD, to then say, is it time to go top lane? It's probably time to go top lane, and then you can try and tower dive that Maokai.
We'll have to see what these teams have for each other. About to be on the Rift. Longzhu versus Immortals, starting off our Group B games here at Worlds 2017. We'll have to see how it goes in. The Ezreal jungle versus Cuzz's Kha'Zix. As we see now, Immortals wanted to be on this stage for quite some time, get their chance.
Yeah, and much like the last game, had very similar style teams in G2 and Samsung. I think the same is true in this game for a lot of reasons. They're summer split teams that really just recently found their stride. They both change a little bit from the meta. Immortals always picking way more CC than other teams and allowing Olleh to play different support pool. And even now you can see pulling out the jungle Ezreal as a higher priority than most other teams would do. Both of these teams are very committed to playing their game. And it's a fast one. They both love playing very fast. So I hope we get to see a lot of action.
Let's chase.
Well, they might actually try and catch someone in there. It was checked by Gorilla. He didn't find anything. Everyone just ends up backing away. But 2 deep boards plays by Immortals. And when there is an Ezreal jungle, you should get your fast game because he needs to be aggressive early on. Obviously, there is good late game insurance with the Maokai in here, with the Rageblade Varus as well for late game fights. But in order for Xmithie to have an impact, then we're looking at the early game.
Yeah, and the jungle Ezreal wants to get red buff. Then you can go somewhere with Storm Raiders and proc it by landing a Q. Or you can get your double buff level 3 and immediately invade the jungle. That can actually still out-trade the Kha'Zix this early. It's just later when it doesn't necessarily do it. So that's why we see the change-up by Immortals to get the very early wards. Because Xmithie wants to know where Cuzz started, so he can try and exploit this rookie jungler. We forget a lot of times that Cuzz is a rookie jungler because he has found so much success, but that could definitely be a place where Immortals is looking to attack.
I like this level 1 start here from Immortals as well, with the Morgana waiting in that tri-bush, knowing there's a leash happening so that you can just delay Longzhu to get to lane just a little bit at least. Have Cody Sun just get the push early. Xmithie, of course, will not have any issues here in the jungle on his own. Once he gets blue buff, it's the fastest clear speed of junglers in the current meta from this Ezreal, and you just want to abuse that as much as possible. Get out on the map, fight.
So he's going for the quick level 3, focusing on single target camps. That's what the jungle Ezreal does, because it's much harder for him to clear those multi-camps. Curious though, knowing that Cuzz started red side, he doesn't have that invade. And he also messes up the patience on the Gromp, so it resets. Not a good look for Xmithie.
Definitely going to slow him down a bit. Maybe he hops over the side, saves the arcade shift for a little bit more movement, and he's going to get that red buff
there we go.
on this bot lane.
Warded yet, so he's going to make it behind him.
They have the Mantra Shield to get out fast, also the jump, and they're going to be making it real quick. They see the play happening here from the side of IMT and say, do not like.
And this is such a standard thing to try and do against Longzhu. Try and see if you can kill Prayer Gorilla in the early game, but they are probably the best bot lane in the world at defending against ganks, because they get left alone so often in these games while Longzhu playing topside. They're used to this one, and they just back away instantly.
Exactly. It's what enables their strategies more than anything else, actually, is how well they can play defensively. If you look at the jungle proximity percentages, Cuzz's proximity to the bot lane is extremely low. It's the lowest of the junglers at the World Championship, and that's because he's always sitting mid-top, and that enables BDD to get a lead, or Condi to get a lead, and BDD to ult top lane. And other teams don't play this way because their bottom lanes would get destroyed, but that just doesn't happen to Longzhu. They often sometimes even win in those situations, but it's tough this game as well, as Xmithie's now ganking it.
A lot of these are coming up as well. Pobelter obviously farming there. Weren't going to come up with the kill, but he is affecting lanes. Xmithie has been going to a few here and there and making sure he has a little bit. The kill comes up, it's the bag of chips.
Yeah, both lanes from Longzhu realizing that this Ezreal in the first few levels will have the ganking pressure and letting the Kha'Zix just farm. Like, you don't really want him out of the map this early. Try and get him all the way to level 6 if you can, and then start really challenging this Ezreal, because Xmithie now, due to 2 ganks, are actually down a level at the moment. He didn't even get a summoner spell. He just poked a little bit, and that's not enough for him.
Exactly, and the 300 gold Cuzz now has in his pocket over Xmithie, as well as the level, is basically the gold lead you see for Longzhu. So the early game definitely advantaged Longzhu, thanks to Longzhu absorbing that pressure in the bottom lane. Look at what it's cost him. 6 CS and maybe 100 gold. They're going to be just fine.
I actually also want to go back to the point you were making before here, Jad, about Prey and Gorilla. I think while Khan obviously is the guy we highlight a lot, and a lot of people are talking about because he's making the big flashing plays, like the backbone and the star players on Longzhu is in fact Gorilla and Prey. Like, as you said there before, no one are able to play just to one side if your other side gets ganked and dies. And the fact that these guys have been doing this for so many years now as well, being like one of the best bot lanes in the world, and finally, you know, take down SKT as well, win that one for Longzhu. It's an amazing story with these 2 guys, and they deserve all their, you know, highlights they've now been able to create with this team.
Love in the mid lane, but too close to the turret for BDD to go hard on Pobelter's low mana bar. Cuzz waiting patiently in the jungle here. Both junglers level 4, and Xmithie, he knows. Yeah. He knows something's going on.
Very smart jungler, Xmithie is, right there, knowing that the castles could be waiting, completely avoids them, and Cuzz is going to come up empty, even if he does get some deep vision.
Very smart. As we were saying, his rookie year, one of the youngest players last year to reach China and Korea #1 on the ladders, and the youngest to do so as well. This guy really tries to fight and make himself better all the time.
Yeah, he's now able to communicate as well to his bot lane that Ezreal was not showing top side, so he needs to be down bot side. He's probably killing a camp. Just be ready for a potential gank, and as soon as Immortals bot lane moves forward, Longzhu just ran away. Like, they're like, you know what? There might be an Ezreal here. We're not going to deal with this. They're playing so safe, and it's all communication. So when you go into the enemy jungle and you don't find the jungler, well, you know, okay, he's on the other side of the map, and you can then call them.
BDD pulling the minions out. Oh, lost one. Nice job, though, trying to sweep up what he can. Stalls him out in front of the minion, or in front of the turret. Could put Pobelter in a bad spot. They may look for Cuzz to come mid at some point. Really hasn't seen too much in ganking form, other than just kind of being a nuisance to Xmithie so far, and doing a good job of it.
Yeah, and still looking at the game, it's neck and neck right here for Longzhu and Immortals, so they haven't found that opening or that crack that they can exploit really for either team. And Immortals is a team that plays early game very well as Longzhu, so still a very close game.
Difference is just Longzhu saying we want to wait for our jungler to get level 6. Immortals saying we don't want to wait for that. We actually want to get an advantage before it. So the fact that Longzhu has just been able to kind of sit back and not lose anything to this Ezreal is very big for them. And this Ezreal was first rotation for Xmithie. He was like, from the get-go saying, I'm going to play this, I'm going to beat these guys in the early game.
The R evolve for the Kha'Zix allows him to be so much sneakier in the jungle and often bypass a lot of the wards. Go-to Kha'Zix evolution nowadays.
It's funny though, I see both, you know, with also going like Q early, and typically the junglers are saying, at least in Europe, like if you get a kill early, go for R, play super aggressive on the map, use that extra mobility to just continue to like force fights. But if you don't get any early kills, just take the Q, it's a bit safer, will give you more value in a team fight as well. But in this one here, Cuzz, went straight for R, despite actually not doing anything early, and feeling like that is the best option for him.
And we still really need to track the top side and how well Flame can absorb the pressure from Khan, who's gone Tiamat and is trying to shove him in a lot. Notice the control wards by Longzhu as well is setting up the roam path for Xiye, and that's why Immortals is going bot side.
Last chain of corruption. Prey gets hit. He's able to jump out. True Shot Barrage to come out behind here. Who's got the follow-up damage? And it goes under Gorilla. This is going to be the warp out, teleport in. Khan gets himself in a bad spot. Top lane now to Flame.
And this is what we see from Immortals in the NALCS as well. Great setups. Pobelter was moving from that mid lane very early, calling, okay, now we can go for the fight. And Cody's with that R flash engage onto Prey, locking him in place, meaning, okay, there is at least one member we can hit at the moment. Prey might even want to look for more because we got a Taliyah coming around.
Here's Taliyah.
There's no teleport for Olleh. He gets caught out in the end. Soul Shackles go down, but he is going to be shackled up by the likes of Longzhu as it's now 1-1.
Did not expect Khan to stick around. They thought he was going to be running towards top side as the teleport wasn't matched by Flame, but by sticking around and also roaming down BDD, where they didn't actually have the control wards, they pick up a kill. So it's not like they can only play through the top lane like some top lane focused zombies. They make another play and they even out the game.
Well, what we saw there was the fact that Pobelter could move first in mid, so he went down, made his play. When he leaves, you gotta respect that now it's the enemy mid laner's turn, because he's obviously gonna push the wave while you're gone, and when you're stuck in under your tower killing the remaining minions, he's leaving.
Yeah.
And you gotta be ready for him to join a potential fight. Down the bot lane, Immortals were not ready for it, and that's why they end up giving a kill over to Longzhu and Infernal Drake.
I was gonna say Infernal feels good on a Jarvan, Kha'Zix, Triss, Taliyah. A lot of damage there. We'll see this again.
Yeah, I mean, hitting level 6, going for the flash, but not actually looking to chain the CC. It's like Olleh and Cody Senders both took shots, so it means they have to commit a lot. I really like the Realm Warp afterwards. As they get the Realm Warp out, notice the TP cancel. I would expect Khan to actually cancel his as well, but he doesn't.
Cuzz on the board. A pretty good record throughout the LCK summer split as he hands off blue to BDD in the mid lane. Another one who has been touted as one of the greats coming out of the LCK soon and still has a long way to go. But Faker says you got to beat him multiple times to be a legend.
Yeah, also, for those of you who haven't been following LCK closely, BDD was this super hype player about 1.5 years ago, but didn't find a huge amount of success and finally had his breakout split, so to speak, averaging less than a death a game. Only died 2 times in the 4 games he played in the finals of LCK, so...
Best KDA player in the world.
That is what some have said as well, but then counters to that say he actually pushes up a lot and makes a lot of plays. It's just that he's always making the right one, so manages to avoid the deaths. Let's see if Olleh can get something happen.
Hiding in the brush. The control has been great for them. Cody some possibly forward. Last hit to Olleh. So clean and simple.
It's such a smart setup when you have a Black Shield as well to stop Prey from shooting Cody Sun away from the fight. So this Varus will always just sit there and get enough damage off. Cody Sun is delaying his own rage play by going for Ninja Tappy here, respecting the fact there's a Jarvan and a Kha'Zix potentially joining fights in the bot lane to try and kill him. But that was a nice setup, and it all comes down to Olleh landing that binding.
That's the support that has been banned away from him over and over. As Immortals get their vision control going, that Fog of War is going to be so deadly because of Olleh. He's going to keep making those plays.
And one thing we need to track the later we get into this game is how well do Longzhu play without Gorilla on a champion where he can create plays, where he can engage fights. He's sitting back on this Karma here. He's actually telling Khan that it's up to him to start the fights, and that's not a standard setup for Longzhu. You can see Gorilla already have died twice in this lane as well, so Immortals have actually been able to win this early game slightly, but it's still a very good win for them.
Exactly. In the North American LCS, Immortals did play around bot lane extremely well with how Xmithie could make those ganks. And we talk about how Prey and Gorilla are so good at playing defense, you don't expect them to die, but Immortals clearly not changing their focus. They're going bot again and again.
So he throws the binding down, pushes Gorilla up towards Xmithie with that direction, possibly onto Prey now. Nature's Grasp just misses. No, it gets him! And they come up with another kill!
It's all planned in advance here from Immortals, placing that ward deep in the lane, waiting for Longzhu to push forward, and then using that TP from Flame. Great setup. Should be a tower in the bot lane as well, using Ezreal ulti to clear the wave in top.
Yeah.
And right now, Immortals, they're really trying to snowball this game.
They're executing their game plan, regardless of their opponents right here. Yeah, you say you can't actually shut down Praying Gorilla. They're refusing to play that topside game, and it's working so well for them. Olleh, Cody, Sun, using that initiation combo to make the plays, and Ardent Sensor being completed means they're at a pretty strong house.
It's definitely much easier to shut them down when Gorilla is on a squishy Karma that can't really escape once you get CC'd by anything, really.
Yeah. Exactly, and you do have to wonder where Longzhu falls in this spectrum, because Alistar was on the table. They could have had that pick, but they opted for the Ardent Sensor support as well, and Olleh, with the control ward, gets the binding to start the fight.
Quick follow-up, we even see Ezreal ulti down there, and then this Black Shield, making sure Prey cannot get Cody out of the fight and actually keep the Karma alive here. And this is now the follow-up with that TP being ready on the side of Immortals, and it's just a great setup, and no way really out for Gorilla. Prey, on the other hand, actually getting hit by the last part of that long cat.
I really liked the choice of Flame there to flash twist to advance Gorilla, because Prey was going to try and buffer that CC with a well-timed rocket jump anyway. Then they still got him with the ultimate at the end, where even though he probably could have avoided the route, I don't think there was any way that Prey was getting out of that one.
So the classic Longzhu game plan of getting Khan ahead in the early game, it's not happened. They've not been playing around topside in this game here. The bot lane that normally will never die to these ganks, with this Karma pin, actually shut down completely. And Immortals are sitting with a 3,000 gold lead at this point here. No rage play just yet for Cody Sun. Will most likely come for him on the next time he goes back. And then he's going to be super strong with this Ardent Sensor support next to him. And Immortals, they can keep playing around this dual lane. They have no reason to stop. Just keep moving towards Cody Sun. And, of course, this Morgana here landing bindings.
Yeah, and Xmithie is basically living up there, and it's one of the ways he's avoided Cuzz's counter jungling as well, is because he's just always with his bottom lane, hoping to catch a binding somewhere. Misses by about a pixel, and Cuzz might be looping around for a mid lane play. He's
back again.
Running circles. Here we go. Lap 2.
You gotta find someone at some point.
Goes down the ulti again, making sure he's at least safe in this excursion.
Back again.
Yep. Retracing his steps. Feels like with the lane pushed up here, they might have a little bit of aggression, but now he's trying to dodge Pobelter. He gets the call from BDD that Ryze is not in lane. And now they'll be all right. But
there they go.
Looks like they're going to have to shot towards Gorilla. A rooted Prey. Soul Shackles just in range, but they actually have to back off. Pobelter warms up after taking a lot of damage. Khan gets the teleport in. Is this the turnaround for Longzhu Gaming? Olleh's going to be going down. They lose the support, but that's 2 kills. Tash going over to Longzhu. Xmithie just living as BDD's on the edge of that fight.
So they lost that tower and a kill here. Immortals looked like a team that knew they should not try and defend the tower because they had no teleport from Flame. But then at the very end, someone made a call to actually go for the fight, and that backfired. Instantly Khan joins. There's 5 members from Longzhu on the top side with Talia ulti coming in, and that's now a kill for them.
Sometimes when so many plays have gone well before around the bot side, you get a little over-eager, but I absolutely agree to Fiscio. Flame could have traded turrets, or no, he couldn't have traded turrets on the bot side anyway. This was just an indefensible one, so to speak. They landed enough CC, they could get it, and they thought the Realm Warp would be able to get it, but the circles that Cuzz was running in that jungle actually found Pobelter. And that's what took him to 40% health before the fight, and made it so they definitely couldn't match that play from Longzhu.
Exactly, just by sitting there, knowing, okay, Ryze needs to at least run into the jungle to actually ult to the top lane. Eventually, you get something. Or Ryze just stays mid, and then you get a free tower.
Really smart play by Cuzz to wait around that jungle, predicting the defense of Immortals on that topside turret. And we'll see if they end up fighting around this Drake, but Longzhu, again, expended the teleport on that play. Means Immortals will now have that teleport advantage for playmaking.
And despite Cody Sun getting, you know, all these assists in the early game, sadly for him, no kills. Item-wise, there is Static Shift and BF Sword now for Prey on his side, so he's actually looking very good. And that's an AD carry that lost lane.
Yeah.
They have found him, though.
Instantly going down, he just got himself in a very troublesome position while Cuzz tries to play that distraction game. He's also trying to pull Immortals around to say, use your resources and spacing on me. They do so and actually come up with an Ocean Drake after that.
It's fun to see how much CC Immortals
oh my word.
Xmithie.
Nice shot by BDD, pulling out one last Q and volleying down Xmithie.
They did not expect the Xiye to move down there and actually meet him in the jungle. But we have seen a few kills now from Immortals side where they have so much single target CC that's so easy to land. Like, you point and click with Rise or the Mlxg, you follow up with a Binding or a Varus ulti, and you keep someone in place for multiple seconds. And again, you don't need to land a skill shot first because you have Rise and Mlxg there.
Chaining CC has been Immortals' bread and butter during the regular season, but one thing that has been their Achilles heel is their tendency to have random one-off deaths, whether it's Cody, Sun, or Xmithie, that has prevented them from closing out the games. As you mentioned, though, flash twisted advance into a whole bunch of CC, and Cuzz is dead into the Ocean Drake. But here, he just wants to shift over for some wards. But BDD predicts it, basically. No other reason to be roaming into that spot. Picks himself up a very clever kill.
Cody Sun also picking one up for himself at 1-0-4. Those early kills to Olleh didn't allow Cody Sun to really spike as much as he wanted to with an early Rage Blade. Rift Herald here will help to open up the map for Immortals, but we were talking about that vision before. A lot of it's on the bot side. They haven't moved it top. They got to be careful about this exit.
We'll secure the Rift Herald at least. Flame actually went back, but TP would be ready, and we have two members from Longzhu sitting in the mid lane, so they could not fight. Immortals will get that one, and hopefully for them it rewards them with a tower. It is so even in gold though, with Immortals actually being ahead 3,000 gold just, I feel like a few minutes ago. Then we started playing top lane, they gave Longzhu a tower, and they started getting back in, make it even.
Exactly. If we've learned anything from watching any other region play against Korea at Worlds, it's the 2,000 gold does not win you a game. You need to do so much more to take them down. One minor misstep from Immortals, and it's an even game once again with a 2-item Tristana who has an Ardent Sensor, but the tank line isn't necessarily there for Longzhu. We see a very aggressive build coming out from Khan, a serrated Dirk after the Warrior enchantment for Cuzz, so Longzhu isn't going to be able to set up these super disciplined team fights and will always run the risk of Flame doing that flash twisted advance on anyone and picking up a kill.
And that's actually why I'm very concerned for Longzhu's team fighting. Like, obviously it's going to come down to individual skill with like Prey and BDD having good positioning, but when it is so simple for Immortals, when they have flash available to lock down a guy, and there are 4 squishy members on Longzhu's side with this Kha'Zix of course building full damage, it should be very easy to get the initial kill that allows you then to win the fight. This is a good spot for the Rift Herald. They have already dealt enough damage to this tower, and we'll just secure it. Longzhu backs away. Khan wants to try and get some damage bot lane, but Mlxg is already there to defend.
Yeah, Flame doing quite a good job shadowing Khan this game, and they have prevented him from necessarily taking over, but something more about Longzhu and their way they play around Khan. It's not like he's smashing lane every game. They're also giving him a ton of mid to late game resources to make him a very huge late game force. So his CS percentage post 15 minutes is extremely high for top laners, and his gold distribution is also extremely high for Longzhu. So he will still be a very scary Jarvan who's going to be looking to one-shot, you know, a Varus or a Morgana in the late game. One of the reasons we see Cody Sun has gone with the Ninja.
He's cruising around, soaking up all the experience he can that is left for him right now. Cuzz is just on that top side, making sure the AD carries stay safe. Everything else is Khan's and the rest. Flame and him will meet in just a few. Actually, Flame peels off, maybe to protect something that's going on towards the top side. His teleport's up, so this might just be to get some wards and clear some out.
It's also very good for Immortals that they can have Flame with this armor build, just sit and hold the Jarvan for as long as possible. And BDD, if he goes down to that bottom lane to try and kill him, well then suddenly Baron is open. And when you have Rage Blade Varus, like, Baron dies quickly. Ezreal as well with so much single target DPS. Immortals will always have that threat at least to rush towards it, and it's making it hard for Longzhu to actually go to Khan's lane. And this will end up in, you know, team fight versus team fight. And I'm looking just at Immortals always finding that initial pick with all the chain CC.
And that's going to be the question. How well can these teams control vision? And who can get that first initial pick? Because yes, Flame is the tank line that can get that, but there's 4 other squishy people on Immortals. Pobelter, one of the few Rises I've seen who doesn't go Abyssal Mask, is still opting for that Rod of Ages. Makes him more squishy when he's going into these team fights.
It just depends on how many AP champions he's facing. In this game here, there's an AD jungler and AD top laners. He's like, I don't need that MR. I can just go for a Rod of Ages. If he's against more AP, he's probably going to go Abyssal Mask.
1 ward towards the bottom side, 3 that hook up into Immortals jungle. We saw the damage there from Pobelter. If any more crowd control had hit Cuzz, he'd be gone. And Olleh does not have a chance to get the Dark Bindings out as they just stand in mid lane face to face here. Wards are now trying to be cleared. Immortals taking that ground back as Longzhu are able to find themselves a little bit of ground in the mid game. They back, and we'll see what they come out of base.
Yeah, but with the back, it means Immortals has a window to push pretty aggressively here in the mid lane. Still have the Black Shield if any type of engage was attempted by Longzhu. And they're trying to set up for this Infernal Drake. They want to equalize the boosted power from this Drake. Do not want the second one going over to Longzhu, which increases the threshold for Longzhu to get that one shot with something to start.
They're very close. Looks like they're just going to let this wave even out. Bot lane's getting crushed in right now. Can be handled by Flame. Looks like they're going to have to wait for the fight.
The mid lane priority always so important when you're trying to fight for these objectives in the river. Another thing is getting early control wards down when you have Morgana is fantastic too. Try and sneak away and find someone.
There it is.
CC.
The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch coming in from Immortals. Prey could be the next, but the crowd control is on cooldown. Nature's Grasp just slipping by the top side of the fight, and Flame definitely has to be careful. You see all of the damage that Longzhu has, and they know where to put it.
And this should just keep happening in this game here, because Longzhu was trying to sneak around the big wall, saying, okay, we can't really face check in the river, that control ward, you have too much CC, and still they managed to find them.
They're trying to threaten Baron, though. It's rather ambitious as the Drake goes down, but they are on it.
All right, Xmithie coming up. His smite is going to be down, but it will be up for the time.
They're gonna get it.
Get there. They have enough damage to make it happen. Olleh, it's up to you. Can he get the damage? He cannot. Soul Shackle goes down. The rest of the team's trying to get out, and instantly zeroed out Olleh means Khan could be finding himself in the same situation as he stayed too long. Having him with Baron on the side lane would be huge if he can put out the pressure, but it looks like he goes down in the end. And the rest of the team will be able to work with Baron and 3.
Even then, Baron in a 2-for-1 kill trait is a great macro call there by Longzhu to secure that objective that Immortals was going to be able to pressure with their pick. That absolutely is critical in keeping them in this game. That maybe even gives them the lead. Such a fast series of events right there.
I mean, yeah, we're talking seconds here. You cannot hesitate with this call, because then Immortals will make it in here in time to stop this Baron. So the fact they are so quick to go towards it is actually quite amazing. But obviously, Immortals will get a few kills in return. As long as they can defend now and stall, they still got that Infernal Drake on their side for a bit extra scaling.
Yeah, and Infernal Drakes are not equal for both teams. If one team has more benefiters of AP and AD. In this case, like the AD Jarvan versus the tank Mlxg means one person that benefits from the Infernal and one person that doesn't really as much. So slightly more effectiveness from the Infernal Drake for Longzhu, but still an incredibly close game.
Let's see what the idea of Longzhu is now that they have this Baron. Obviously, we see Prey and Gorilla side by side. Those two not leaving each other. The rest of the 3 looks like to be towards that bot lane. Baron's gone. Get that bottom turret down and let these 2 protect mid.
Oh, Prey's
Prey
quite strong in this game here. Already sitting on basically 2 full items and 2 halves.
That's all it takes.
And then Xmithie goes down, and suddenly this Baron buff now means that Longzhu can also push for some towers.
No Xmithie, Cody's son very low. It's those small mistakes from Immortals that keep costing them, and it has been true so much during the regular season. Cody's son steps a little too far forward. You got an Ardent Sensor Trist that runs you down, and then everything just gets used to chase. So this is at least another turret for them, maybe more, as Xmithie's still dead for another 20 seconds.
Pobelter on the same score line, but we haven't been able to see the power. Longzhu in, too much control. The inhibitor turret in their eyes here. 27 minutes in. Pobelter on the bottom side of the fight. A double cataclysm going on to Cody's son. Olleh goes down immediately as Pobelter still looking to deliver the damage from the back, from the side. He can't find his way in. His Flame is in a 4v1. Prey goes to the front side of the fight. There it is. Cuzz goes down to the hands of Pobelter. And he is just trying to flex his muscle, but doesn't have that finishing damage, doesn't have enough teammates behind. Here comes Xmithie. Pobelter still on the run. Have Longzhu overstayed their welcome? And it looks like it could be just right. BDD backs up. Pobelter just on the edge. Zanyas goes down, and BDD's gonna volley this one home. Prey with the kill secured.
Just like that, Longzhu does not relent. The one bit of damage they get on Cody's son turns into this, which is an absolute bloodbath and an inhibitor down for Longzhu.
Oh, and we kept talking about the comms here, how Immortals could find that first pick against all the squishies on Longzhu, but then we just see great shot calling to secure a Baron, and then fantastic play afterwards to use the Baron to really pressure down Immortals. And it's these very quick calls that just makes these Korean teams so good and so hard to beat.
And that's not to take away from the game-saving play Pobelter made at the end of this fight, because with Xmithie down and with this clean engage from Longzhu to take Cody's son very low and then watch Cuzz around the backside, finish off Cody's son because he stays in stealth for so long, the game could end here. If Pobelter doesn't get off this massive combo to get the spread from his Q onto pretty much everyone on Longzhu, they could have ended the game with that Baron buff, but they do not, as they chase through to try and get some more kills.
Just when you think Pobelter can then also kill BDD, nope, you get to see great kiting with the Talia, steps out of range here also with the ulti, good flash, and a lot of damage onto Pobelter, forcing him then to use the defensive Zhonya's, and obviously he's going to die as soon as he gets out of it.
Yeah, and BDD has played nearly a perfect game here. They have the flash down on Pobelter as well. He's trying to get out. Xmithie could not.
Realm Warps out. Xmithie finding the 45-second death timer, and 45 seconds mean Longzhu has a long time to work in a 5v4 here. Teleports down as that was Khan coming in, so it looks like they're obviously here to stay and take down bottom inhibitor.
And we've now seen Longzhu, without running again, engage on Gorilla, use the Talia walls so effectively to create catches, and then also the speeding up Prey, sending him forward every single time.
Cody's son blinks, Cody's son goes down. That's gonna be another kill coming in for Prey, and Khan is the initiator in this one, not stopping a second to think about it because the team is right behind him.
And they're not letting everyone respawn, and they just keep getting the picks.
30 minutes in, quite fast games to start off the group stage of World. Longzhu going to take down Immortals and start off their group stage in Group B, 1-0.
So much of this game was about who could start the fights, because you had so many damage dealers on both sides. And what was so interesting is both teams had many picks that were successful. What decided it is what happens after.